As anyone who's ever tried it can attest, dieting is stressful, and this may explain why dieting behaviors aimed at losing weight can actually have the opposite effect. Many people are surprised to learn that their dieting efforts may have contributed to weight gain over time. It seems some people assume that energy balance is this 24-hour ordeal rather than a dynamic life course process. And this is likely due to the overuse of calorie counting apps. While it may seem counterintuitive, data has implicated dietary restraint as a causal factor in binge eating and obesity. Of course, these relationships are bidirectional since many people start engaging in restrained eating after the onset of overeating. It then becomes a vicious cycle. Restrained eating is generally defined as a cognitive effort to eat less in order to lose weight, which has been viewed both as the problem and solution to obesity. Recently, it's become clear that theories of weight loss based on low-calorie dieting are failing, likely due to the neurochemical, endocrine, and gastrointestinal factors, which simple models of energy balance do not adequately capture. Thus, we must consider one's dieting history when assessing their weight status and in conversations about weight-related goals. A classic study conducted by Ansel Keys in the 1940s examined the link between starvation and changes in human biology and behavior. The study showed that significant intentional weight loss produced binge eating in about a third of participants. Those who were reduced to 50% of their baseline caloric intake for extended periods, these were months, began collecting recipes and cookbooks. The dietary restraint led to an obsession with food for many of these men, which was persistent even after the weight was regained. The finding that caloric restriction leads to preoccupation with food has been widely cited in eating disorder circles. The argument that follows is that diets don't work. It is less clear if deliberate efforts to eat differently, focusing on dietary quality rather than quantity, should also be classified as pathological dietary restraint. We know that an overemphasis on dietary quality can also be very stressful. For example, clean diets intended for health reasons which impair daily function have been described as orthorexia nervosa, which is also a growing problem. There's considerable debate on how to approach the concept of food addiction from a nutritional standpoint. It has been stated that dietary restraint does not have to be dysfunctional as long as flexible elements are added. Individuals who meet criteria for food addiction and engage in dietary restraint may experience different effects on their weight status, depending on whether the restraint is successful, unsuccessful, pathological, or part of a restrictive eating disorder. More research is needed to determine what types of dietary restraint are helpful or harmful when criteria for food addiction are met. In the meantime, we have an 8-step process for discerning dietary restraint from food addiction that was recently published in an open access journal. It is crucial to establish if someone would benefit from a more exclusive versus inclusive nutritional approach. We predict that very low-calorie diets will always be dangerous over the long run. At Wise Mind Nutrition, we believe that one size does not fit all and that no single food philosophy works for all people. For this reason, we undergo a careful assessment process to guide nutrition interventions. Our approach is data-driven and on the cutting edge of the nutrition for mental health revolution.